Hey everybody, it's Phillip of the Not There Yet podcast. Welcome back. Season 2 starts now. We've added video, so now you get to see the faces behind the voices. Looking forward to hear what you guys think on this premiere of Season 2, Episode 1, as we talk about the discipline of staying. Stay tuned, and we'll get started. Hey everybody, welcome to the Not There Yet podcast. I'm Phillip.
I'm Stephanie.
This is Season 2, Episode 1.
It is.
And it's... Obviously, you can see we have video now. We had some folks requesting it. Oh, did you just do the...
I did the...
So now you get to see the faces behind the voices. And you can see why my mom always said I had a face for radio. So there we go.
I like your face.
Oh, thanks. You just have to say that.
I don't have to.
Okay,
I don't have to.
enough.
I choose to.
All right. Well, we're jumping in. It has been a long couple of months. We stepped out right around Thanksgiving, had a bout of influenza at Thanksgiving.
That was you.
And then
had to go and ruin Thanksgiving for us.
Like we had to do Thanksgiving meal here at home.
Yeah,
you did a great job cooking it though.
Thank
Pretty
you.
Tasty. Yeah, kids were not as excited about Thanksgiving as we have been in the past. But sometimes you gotta call
it was fun. It was different. I mean, we missed being with family for sure, but it was fun.
Yeah, and then we got to Christmas, and we were like, we'll just pause and then start with Season 2 sometime after the new year. And so here we are. And
we decided to add video.
Yeah. And also had another bout of influenza last week.
Right before the snowstorm.
So
ice, whatever, Texas. It was mostly ice.
Sleet and all the stuff. So
it's been cold, way too cold for me.
Yeah. So
this Texas girl doesn't like it. Can't do it.
I like the cold, but I don't mind it so much.
Yeah,
you don't like it. I mean, you like the thought of it.
I like it within reason.
like July, you're like, oh, I'm so ready for the winter time.
1,000%. Yes. And like in Texas, if everything shuts, here's the thing, not if we have ice or snow, everything does shut down. Yeah. Schools and people clear out the grocery stores.
Yeah, if you're not
it's crazy.
Texas, we have caricatures of Texans when it comes to like the threat or the potential for ice. And everybody in the grocery store goes and buys 16 loaves of bread, 17 packages of toilet paper, and you can't cook toilet paper. You don't need it.
Yeah, but COVID ruined us for the toilet paper.
Yeah,
but here's the deal though. Like, so everything shuts down and you're inside.
Yeah.
I can handle that for like 2 days, 3 max. And it's kind of fun. It's a little bit of a novelty because that doesn't usually happen.
Yeah.
But when you get past the 2 to 3 day mark, cabin fever sets in and it is very real.
And then when you have pets too, like you have pets in the house, like we are dog sitting for your brother.
Yeah.
And she's a sweet dog. She's a big dog. And our dog, like,
they go outside and play together.
They did, but they couldn't figure out, do we want to be inside or outside? And it was...
Neither could our boys.
It was like single digits half the time. And so we're like, dude, like, just get her out. Dude.
The boys were the same way, though. True. They were in and out.
Yeah. Even on the heels of the flu, one of them wanted to be outside. And I don't blame them. I get it. It's not fun to not be outside.
But our floors have been...
They are...
a disaster.
I would say they're recovering, but we've not yet taken a mop to certain areas. We have on some parts,
yeah,
but not all of them. Anyway,
yeah, it's good. Okay,
so welcome back to the Not There Yet podcast. It's fun to kind of reminisce about the last couple of months that were not exactly exciting as far as health and other stuff.
But I'm excited to jump into. I guess we are calling this Season 2.
Yeah.
So kicking off Season 2 with video, and I think we're going to focus a lot on some of the more difficult parts of life and marriage and kind of walk through some of those tougher seasons and our experiences with that and kind of how we as individuals navigate that differently and how we've come together to do that successfully or unsuccessfully or not there yet. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, and some of that's coming from the feedback from some of you guys who listen to the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whichever platform you listen on. And there's been some really good encouragement and feedback saying, hey, you guys are talking about stuff that I've dealt with and just hadn't really known what to do. Or some of the things that you guys have walked through have really challenged the way that I view some things. And so today, do you want to introduce the topic? Because this is a good one that I don't really like to talk about, but it's a good one to talk about.
Yeah, I think I probably started saying this to you maybe about a year ago.
Yeah.
Does that feel right?
Yeah.
Like this concept for me, specifically, and for us, as it has turned out, which is the discipline of staying.
Yeah.
And for me, that feels like a discipline at times. It is something I have to be very intentional about. If I'm not careful, I will run when I get uncomfy.
Yeah.
Or if it's just not going the way I think it should. So that's been something we've really had to buckle down and go, no, we're making an intentional decision in this season to stay. And that has meant different things across various areas of our life. So everything from like literally a city or a town location to jobs, to church, to whatever. So it's a journey.
It is a journey, and it's the discipline side of it, right? Like that's the part that sometimes gets difficult for me, is like the discipline of it is that it's a practice, and it's something that you're learning, and it's something you're implementing. I get really antsy. Like for work, I get to travel quite a bit internationally, and it's been since September that I've traveled, and so kind of feel a little bit antsy for that. But also just like where we've lived, right? Like the town we live in it's a great town. There's like everything you could want is here. And if not, it's like 15 minutes up the road in Fort Worth. And so we're just outside of the Dallas Fort Worth area. There's everything you can imagine there, different cultures, stores, activities, experiences, restaurants, and it's all there. And for me, sometimes, we talked about this quite a bit in the discipline of staying, is like, I want to move around a little bit. I want to go see other stuff. And sometimes going on vacation, you get to go see some fun things and you're like, oh, I could totally live here. And the discipline of staying is reminding ourselves of like, we can't put all of our attention and everything on a place that we think we want to be when there's other things in front of us that we should pay more attention to that are a little more important.
So I guess that is kind of goes into presence too, being present and embracing your current season and not looking always to what's next or what's ahead.
Yeah. Well, and you and I had very different childhoods when it came to that. You guys moved around quite a bit. We talked about that early on in a couple of the first episodes.
Maybe we should revisit that for a minute. Yeah. Just like our background on that.
Yeah. You want to do that?
Yeah. You go first.
I'll go first. Okay. So I grew up.
Yours is shorter. So
it is shorter. It's very short. It's the same house that I grew up in. It's the same house my parents live in now. Great place to live. Small town. I think we're now at like 6,000 people, I think is what my hometown was. Now, back then it was 3,000 people. So
it's doubled since you left.
40 years of life, the town has gone from 3,500 or 3,000 to now just over 6,000.
Yeah.
So
sounds crazy if you say the town doubled.
That's true. And it's a suburb of Austin. So like Austin folks are moving out, but they're not even staying in the town. They're going outside of town. And so
it's more rural.
Rural, yeah. And we didn't move. Like we just stayed put. And it wasn't a bad thing because mom and dad both had good careers. They had good jobs and everything. My mom worked locally. Dad worked in Austin. He just commuted. And so I went to school with the same people almost from kindergarten. No, let's back up past kindergarten.
Probably daycare,
let's go
right?
To daycare, like their TLC group, right? Tender Loving Care was the acronym for the daycare. I'm sure that
not the Learning Channel,
not the Learning Channel, but TLC was the daycare center, and I went there. I mean, all the way through daycare years, and then graduated from the same high school with the same people I went to daycare. And so
you had consistency.
It was constant,
and it was steady as far as location goes, and there wasn't a lot of moving around.
Yeah, and my siblings, 5 and 10 years behind me, had some of the same teachers that I had.
That's
going through school.
Wild. And really cool, by the way.
It's cool, but they, my poor siblings had to deal with the reputation that I left behind, which was a wake of
I would say it can't
chaos.
Be that bad, but I've heard stories.
The stories are mostly true.
Yeah.
Not awesome. So, all right, you're
you little neurodivergent boy over there.
Very busy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and mine is just different in that we moved around a lot for my dad's job. My dad was in ministry. He traveled and did singing concerts at churches, and it was a lot of fun, and I didn't know any different. And so it was fun. It was great. But that set for me, as an adult, a pattern of getting bored kind of easily, I think, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
And I've had to really fight the urge to go, okay, I'm ready for the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and again, not that any of that was bad. It's just the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after we got married, we were in one place for what, 6 years ish?
Right. Yeah. 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Oh no. Gosh,
6,
guys, we have
7.
teenagers. The whole 6, 7 thing is
It will never end.
so bad. I texted our youth pastor and said, I hate what this generation has done to me with 6, 7. And he said, it's the worst.
Yeah, it really
It's
is.
so bad.
It's worse than bottle flipping.
Ooh. Hmm.
Hmm.
I participated in bottle flipping.
Yeah.
But it was just so I could be with the cool kids and fit in.
Okay. So,
anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
So, yeah, squirrel for sure. So basically, though, I think it's just something really important for me to have had to recognize in myself.
Yeah.
And that for me has been, it's okay to stay and push through the hard things.
Mm-hmm.
And just transparently, I mean, maybe it was about a yearish ago, maybe we kind of deviated in 2 different ways from places that we felt like we should have stayed, but we moved. One was job oriented and one was church oriented. And we kind of explored other options for a little while and ended up back where we started. And that for me was really formative to go, okay, this was a good reminder of what the Lord was already trying to teach me, but I needed to experience some of that. I think we needed to experience some of that to come back to staying again and remembering the value of that.
Yeah. And what's interesting too is like you had, throughout your childhood, you had many times where you guys moved. We didn't move.
Mm-hmm.
And like I knew there was a bigger world out there than what I had experienced. I'd, traveled throughout the States for vacations or for school events. But once we got out and got to see other places and live other places, it kind of ignited a little bit of a, I don't want to say a transient.
Well, like a sense of adventure.
A sense of adventure, 1,000%.
Yeah.
And realizing, I can live outside of places that I'm accustomed to. And so that led us to different places for work for me and for you eventually too. And then us as a family. And we came back here. And so we've been here almost
4 years.
4 years in March.
Yeah.
So this is the longest we lived somewhere since we left Walnut Springs, Texas. And so the closest we've come to that was living in one community for 5 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, there was.
We moved three times. We lived in 3 different houses in that space.
Yeah.
And so even though like work for us was kind of centralized, there was some local shifting for work. And so we just couldn't really find a place that met the needs that we were looking for and kind of trying to position ourselves for different seasons of life with the kids and even work. We lived in one place that was a townhouse and it was nice, but there was no place at that time in student ministry
to like host people.
We couldn't really host anybody. Yeah. Our dining room table was a 4-foot fold up plastic table. And that was where we ate because we didn't have space. There was no dining space. There was a bar that had seats we could sit at, but like there wasn't space for that. And so
that was not my favorite season.
Yeah, no, that wasn't awesome,
but there was a lot of other stuff too. Yeah, there was a lot. There were a lot of variables at that point. But I think so. I think we should unpack this just a little bit. Like, what does it look like? How I'm thinking through maybe how do we know when it is the right time to practice the discipline of staying? And on the contrary, how do you know when it's right to get up and go?
Yeah.
Whether it's a new opportunity, like it's a career, it's a move to a different city, or it's a change in season altogether. Yeah. I think maybe we could talk about that a little bit. Like how do you know when to stay and how do you know when to go? And I don't think we have the answer to this. I think these are things that we're still working out.
And
things,
right? Theme is like it's
1,000%.
It is so thick through this. This conversation today. So.
But for sure. But I think it's just one of those things we've been talking about. And so, I guess let's start with how do we know when the Lord is saying stay? So I think right now, what has been clear for us is identifying what our family needs. In this season and what our kids need, because there was a period of transition. We've talked about that. We lived for a short time overseas and came back, and it was a lot of transition, and our kids navigated that very well. But on this side of it, we have seen things where we have stopped, observed, and said,
Yeah.
maybe we need to be still because they need that right now.
Yeah. And that's a really good point because like, I know that like we were here 6 months and I was like, where are we living next? Right.
Yeah.
What's next? Because
It didn't help that 6 months after we moved here, it was like 114 degrees outside.
God, that's true. Kenya, like everybody was like, oh, it's like the desert. Well, we didn't live in the desert part of
No,
Kenya. We were in the
it was
mountains,
pretty
in the hills. It was
moderately,
really nice.
yeah,
Like a hot day was 83
moderate
degrees
weather.
and mild humidity.
Yeah, but here it was really hot and
Yeah.
it was kind of miserable that
Yeah. I
first
was like,
summer.
let's go find a mountain to go live
Texas
on.
summer. Yeah.
But yeah, like there was just kind of that overwhelming or consuming feeling of a little bit antsy,
Hmm.
a little bit like, is this where we're going to end up? And honestly, too, the kids were in school here locally, and we've kind of done homeschool off and on since they were little bitty, and so we
Hmm.
were like, what do we do? So when we first moved, they finished out that year homeschooling. So we got here
Right.
in Marchish
Hmm.
of 2022. You started a new job. I had started a new job, both of us remote, and the kids didn't have a school they were going to because we were homeschooling.
Yeah, we were finishing out that school year, like you said.
Yeah. And so we decided, okay, they're going to need something that we can't really provide educationally
Hmm.
because both of our workloads were pretty heavy.
Yeah, it was just in the end of a season too.
Yeah.
Like I think sustainably,
Mhm.
like I think we could have sustained it.
Could have.
I think it would have been possible, but I think they were also needing something and we were needing
Yeah.
to give them a little bit of something
Yeah.
different than
Yeah.
just us as their social outlet because it
Yeah.
had been kind of isolating for a season.
Mhm.
Whereas when we were homeschooling in other seasons, it wasn't because
Yeah.
we had communities. Not that we couldn't have found that here. We just went, this is the end of this season and
Yeah.
we know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was okay. And that was a moment for us that it was the right time to do that.
Hmm.
Other people are homeschoolers and they've continued to do that all the way through the end of their high school
Hmm.
years in homeschool. And that's the right move for them.
And that had been our plan for a while and
Yeah.
it just shifted.
Yeah. And, while we were in Kenya, we weren't going to board our kids in school. It just wasn't the right
Yeah.
move. And it ended up being better that we homeschooled then
Mhm.
anyway, because it made that transition back to the States easier.
Mhm.
But but the discipline of staying at that point when we got here, I kind of felt, I mean, maybe about 6 months in, I was like, do we want to stay here in this town? Like, do we
Mhm.
want to stay in this space? And I was ready to jump. And
Mhm.
there wasn't any one thing here that was like, this is why I want to jump. It was just that feeling of like, it's time for something new. And it
Yeah.
was a lack of discipline on my side for just being patient.
Mhm.
And so the right time to get up and go wasn't then because we were looking at our kids. What do they need?
Mhm.
What is the educational situation that they're in right now? Because we're coming out of homeschool.
And what opportunities
Yeah. And what
are
opportunities
there?
are
Yeah.
there? Yeah. And they all are very different. Like
Mhm.
in their, what they love to do. Um, it's so different. One wants to do veterinary medicine. One wants to be a construction guy. Like he wants to be doing that work with his hands. In our area, I guess wants to do computer stuff.
Mhm.
And they're all gifted in all of these things.
Yeah.
They're all very good at it. And so again, that goes back to like, I don't know what to do, but the public schools here offered that opportunity for them to
Yeah.
get that education, which is awesome.
Yeah, they've each been able to pursue different pathways that
Mhm.
lend to developing those gifts and skills in them.
Yeah. And so that led into, I mean, just even more recently, the last few months, we're like, okay, we got to make a decision here. Are we going to stay put? Are we going to, because they could find adequate education
Yeah.
somewhere else in another school district or whatever. And it comes back to like, what is the motivation and the desire behind moving?
Mhm.
What would that be? For me, it was just another change of pace. It was somewhere that might be better, might be more fun to live
Mhm.
somewhere, might be less scorching and icy, on opposite ends of the seasons. But for our kids, it came back to
Mhm.
our boys right now, what they need. They need
Yeah.
less transition in their lives, and they need to be able to pursue what they're passionate about.
And they needed to be able to settle into relationships
Mhm.
and whatever the rhythms were in their life without thinking, I can't get too settled or attached because it might be time to go after this.
Yeah.
And this has allowed them the ability to relax in those spaces
Mhm.
and not feel on edge and that there might be another transition coming.
Yeah. And honestly, we've been here, like we said a minute ago, almost 4 years. I think about the 6 to 12 month time
Mhm.
our youngest asked, "Hey, so when are we moving again?
Yeah.
When do we move next?" And we're like, "Oh
We're
my
not.
gosh,
We're not. We're not.
he's feeling that too. I'm
Yeah.
not the only one, but like, oh no, what kind of like, what kind of existence have we created for them to like, oh, it's time to go after 6 months being in this spot. Oh boy.
But here's the deal, you know, people live in or they grow up in military families or
Yeah.
ministry families. And so this isn't like it's not bad or wrong if
Yeah.
somebody
No,
has
no.
to move off. And just like my childhood wasn't bad
Yeah.
or wrong because I moved
Mhm.
frequently and you didn't move at all. It didn't
Yeah.
make yours better or anything. But I think the thing to remember is that every family has a different season
Mhm.
that they find themselves in, and they have to ask those questions. Is
Yeah.
this what my family needs right now? Is this what I'm being called to? And I think the other piece for me has been, do I feel discontent right now? And is it something that's within me and not environmental? Because
Mhm.
I can feel discontentedness
Mhm.
and feel like I'll feel better if I am in a new place and there's something exciting happening. But the reality is if that discontentment is settled deeply within me and it's a me problem, no move, no job,
Mhm.
nothing is going to fix that because it's going to creep right back up as
Yeah.
soon as the newness wears off again.
Yeah. That's 1,000% true. And like it's like if you're in a friendship with somebody and you make a mistake and you're like, oh gosh, I wish I could just start over fresh. And
Mm.
so you kind of go, at least for me, I kind of think through like, well, I guess I'll just pull out of that one and try and find a new place to go hang out. And, that's the mentality that I end up having sometimes is like, it's just easier to start over fresh without having
Mhm.
to try and
Clean
overcome.
slate.
Yeah. Without having to try and overcome something you've already kind of perpetuated on your own.
Because it's harder to
Yeah.
repair and
Yes.
it's harder
Hmm.
to take a hard look at yourself
Yeah.
even than it is to just say it kind of goes, I think this goes along with it. Like when you stay in one space for a long period of time,
Hmm.
you run a greater risk of being really known by the
Mm.
people around you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is really difficult. That's hard for me.
Yeah.
That's a struggle for me. And so if I don't stay in one place, whether it be literal location
Mhm.
or relationship or whatever,
Yeah.
if I don't stay there too long, I don't run the risk of being known to the point of being vulnerable
Mhm.
and maybe showing a side of myself that I don't want everyone to see.
Yeah. Well, and this morning at church, our pastor was teaching on that. We're talking about the different tenets of the church, like
Mm,
that are important to the ethos of the church and the makeup of the church. And this morning he was talking about just authentic family
hmm.
and talking about the walls that we have in front of people for self preservation.
I felt that.
And I did too, because I'm like, you and I are kind of on the opposite ends of that. I am like, my walls are down. I'm kind of like Michael Scott, like the no doubt about it. I'm ready to get hurt again. If a friendship doesn't work out, I'm like, okay, like I take it to heart. It doesn't feel good, but I'll go find out.
But you dive hard into
I
relationship.
do, and probably way too quick. Sometimes.
Yeah, there's probably like if this is the spectrum and you're there and I'm here, there's probably a healthy place right here in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Maybe we should continue
Probably.
each heading that direction a
Probably
little bit
should.
more, right?
Yeah. But the questions that he was asking this morning were really good. It's like, what am I trying to hide, or what am I hiding
Mhm.
from? What am I trying to prove? And then,
What do I stand to lose?
yeah, what do I stand to
Or
lose? I
was
think
that
is the
it?
other one. I have to go back and watch it again. Sorry, Mark. But the message this morning was really poignant, and it really spoke to the discipline of staying
Mhm.
this morning too, because we've been talking about that
Mhm.
already anyway. It was from Ephesians chapter 4,
Mm.
and like, golly, like it's so easy sometimes if you've moved around
Mhm.
some and you've had that experience, and it's really easy to pull up roots because you had to put them down real deep.
Mm. Oh,
It's real easy to hop.
ooh, that's good too.
Yeah, it's real easy
Yeah,
to hop, and we've got a rosemary bush out in the flower bed that like 8 degrees, Fahrenheit the
that
other
thing is
day. And
hardy.
like we planted it last year and it's like it's already taken deep roots. It's
Mhm.
already gotten in the ground. It's already healthy. It's staying put.
Mhm.
And we have some other lilies that just are not gonna make it.
Yeah,
They're
like
looking
little
pretty bad.
well, I don't think they're meant for freezing
They're not.
temperatures,
And I did not put a
but
trash bag on them. But the
no,
the
we'll have to
thought though is
redo.
like how deep are our roots? Are we willing to put those roots in deeper and
Mm,
have that discipline of staying?
mm.
And like you
Which
asked a minute
takes work
ago,
to cultivate,
it does.
and there's pruning involved
Yeah.
usually, and
And
yeah.
it goes back to that conversation that John Mark was talking about is like, are we willing to be vulnerable for me, sometimes I put way too much into that immediate thing. And that could be off putting. I understand that. But like, are we willing to start putting those roots in deep? And then the question you asked earlier was, how do we know when the Lord says to stay?
Mm,
And like for us, you mentioned a minute ago, we kind of 6 months or a year or so in, we kind of had a transition of employment, and then we had transition of church. And it was a really good time for us, at least as for me,
mhm,
for us to kind of evaluate and kind of have a different perspective on like, are we just feeling dissatisfied? And if that's the question, if the answer to that is yes, what's causing that
mm,
dissatisfaction? And it was really, for me, it was just personal.
mhm,
It was a preferential situation. It wasn't anything problematic. It was just personal. And I had expected so much out of other people that I was expecting them to put roots into me,
mm,
but I hadn't tried to put any roots out. And so the stay was easy to say, no, I'm gonna take
mhm,
off, and find something that may be more fun or cooler or whatever. But it ended up not being where the Lord is leading us. And that was uncomfortable to come back personally. But the interaction we had with people they were very welcoming when we came back to the
mhm.
church, and just coming back and trying to build those spaces and
Yeah.
step into those spaces. And so the discipline of staying is uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah, but I believe it to be worth it.
Hmm.
And I also think that there are seasons um when maybe something is unhealthy,
Yeah.
and it's clear that it's going to be better if
Hmm.
you do take a step in a different direction.
Yeah.
And I think the way that you determine that comes down to, again, for me, it feels like a lot of motivation. Is it
Mm-hmm.
because of dissatisfaction or discontentment within me? Or is it something that no matter what I change in me, this is always going to be unhealthy, or this is going to be something that's really
Yeah.
difficult? And difficulty is not a bad thing, but if it's difficult to the point that it's affecting my health or my family's health or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and there have been seasons
Hmm.
where we've said, this is not, we cannot do this. This is not sustainable long term. Whatever it is for our family in that moment, again, it could be a myriad of things
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
apply to. Um, just like homeschool, for example. And here's
Hmm.
the other thing, I've heard people say this: it's okay to change your mind.
Yes, it is.
Like, it's okay to think you're going to do something,
Yeah.
like homeschool my kids through the very end of high school and
Yeah.
graduate them through that. But it's okay to go, I thought that when they were 8, but when they're 15 and I realize that there's some
Hmm.
need that I am not able to meet, or that our family season is changing and shifting in a way that I never foresaw,
Yeah.
it's okay to go, okay, the season is different and we're
Yeah.
going to make a different choice. And I
Mhm.
am not beholden to what I thought I was going to do a decade ago.
Yeah. And that's a really good point too, is like, just because we thought something a decade ago and we said we're pretty staunchly on this, like you said, doesn't mean we can't change our minds. And the only person who has the answer for that is us,
Hmm.
not somebody else.
That's
Right.
true.
And so we take other people's advice, and we take other people's, encouragements and different bits of feedback into
Hmm.
consideration, and say, you know, this is valuable. This is helpful. This is a different perspective, but it's not really applicable for us. And it's okay
Hmm.
that we make a different decision because of what's right in that season.
Hmm.
And golly, our kids, like, I remember whenever, our youngest kindergarten was a really rough year for him and
It
for us.
was.
And so he started out in public school, but we pulled him out because of some things that were going on. We found out that he had ADHD, right?
Hmm.
And that was something that we had to, as a family, we made that decision because it wasn't a healthy environment for him in the public school. And they
Hmm.
weren't, it wasn't, that was a negative thing from the school. Some parts of it were not great,
Hmm.
but I think public education has a hard time with some of those things, especially when they're younger,
Hmm.
trying to make sure their teachers have enough resources. And for
Right.
us at that time, it was better for us to pull him home and finish that semester at home. And we met with the school, and there was another teacher that was a little more equipped in that area. And she
Hmm.
did a great job with him that next year. And then, there were different seasons and stuff with different teachers that were able to make a
Yeah.
decision, homeschool or public school. But again, that was us having to change our mind based on what was right for him.
Hmm.
Now, homeboy loves going to school.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job. And the Lord has really grown him to where he has a lot of the tools that he needs to be able to
Yeah.
work through some of those
Yeah.
things. And guys, I'll tell you right now, like, that was a huge answer prayer for us.
Yeah.
to not have to go some other paths with him as far as, neurodivergence goes. But like he's learned and he's picked up on, and you've done a really good job helping him with putting words to emotions and putting words to what he's feeling, what he's thinking. And so that's something that the discipline of staying changed, because we could now stay because we didn't feel like we had to move because there was a lack of understanding from somebody else. But we made the decision, hey, this is where we need to be. He's going to be just fine. He's going to do good.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, and that makes me think too, like even regarding our kids, for example, like there have been seasons, like maybe it's a sports situation where they get into it and they say, I don't think this is for me.
Yeah.
And there have been times that we've said, I understand that, but you are part of a team.
Yep.
And that means that you have committed to see this through, at least for this season. And so we're going to ask you to stick it out. We're going to ask you to be disciplined and stay in this and not just stay in it begrudgingly, but to be all in for this season that you've committed to. And I think there's value in that, but there is also value, for example, with our youngest in kindergarten, for us to say, we would not ask him to tough this out because it was not something that he asked for. And it was something that we were having to navigate some complexities there that needed a step back. And so it's just so circumstantial and only, you said it, but only we can know what's right for our family or for us. But I think we're about running out of time here.
Yeah.
So I think maybe for us, boiling it down to how do you know when to stay and how do you know when to go?
Yeah.
And I think one glaring thing for me is motivation.
Yeah.
What is my motivation? Is it to run from something? Is it to run to something? Is it because there's something great and I know it's going to be a good thing? Am I trying to leave something that's hard and I really should stick it out because it's more of a me problem? And then also just what does the season call for?
Yeah.
And I do believe also that sometimes the Lord will call us out of things and into something else. But I do believe that there are times that He allows us the freedom to make decisions. And we always have the freedom. Let me say that very clearly. But I don't think there's always a right or wrong answer. How about that? I think that like you can honor the Lord no matter what decision you make. But it is crucial to ask yourself some of those clarifying questions. Why am I doing this? Am I going to something, or am I trying to get away from something? And what does this season necessitate?
Are we making a change based on preference or problem?
Yeah.
And that's been a helpful conversation.
And will this impact just me?
Yeah.
Or will it impact the people around me, and how so? Like for our kids, if we up and moved right now, how would that impact them? Versus 3.5 years from now, when they're all graduated from high school, if we decided to make a move a little bit further out of the city, which we've talked about, just getting, on some land and kind of the space that we feel like we can breathe and and just have that will impact them less when we don't have to worry about school districts and
for sure.
current like places that they feel at home. And so that's okay for us to look ahead to that too and go, we don't know what that's going to look like then. We know we're here until then.
Yeah.
And by then we may or may not want to do that.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful place to be able to evaluate that and have a bit of a bit less of a feeling of guilt or obligation to other people's opinions. And everything is contextual with all of that. And again, the only person who's responsible for the decisions we make is us. And we're not really, like you said, we're not really beholden to somebody else. And so, we don't have the right algorithm for everybody when it comes to staying, but we have learned to evaluate based on our context with our kids and based on our context with us and how that looks. And so,
and we're still learning because let's be real, every few months, one of us will get like a wild hair and the other one has to say, no, remember what we said.
Remember what we said.
Remember what we've committed to, what we have. And it's a good step back.
Yeah.
So then we just plan a fun trip instead.
We do. And honestly, that's like a little pressure release valve. That's like,
it's true.
All this pressure building. Like, I'm so tired.
I just need a little adventure.
In this space, in this town, I'm ready to go somewhere. And it doesn't have to mean that we're moving. It just means that maybe we need a bit of a change of pace.
That's right.
Scenery.
That's right.
And so
And maybe it just means we get out on a Saturday and go for a hike or whatever,
yeah,
but
that's way easier and cheaper than
it
doing other
is.
stuff.
But
Good
I
news.
love taking a fun trip. I
Yes,
do. And you do too.
I do. And that's part of one of the reasons why I love my job is I get to get out of my context around
Yeah.
me on a fairly regular basis and stuff. So that's also a pressure release at times. But when it comes down to like the permanence of where we're going to be, the
Mhm.
discipline of staying is something that we can't undervalue.
Mhm.
And I'm grateful that when one of us is ready to take off and scoot, the other one's like, hang on,
Mhm.
wait a minute. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
We're gonna be okay.
This too shall pass.
It will pass. And sometimes it's screaming as it passes by, and I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, I think you have felt that more recently than I have,
Yeah.
maybe.
I definitely get some FOMO of other stuff. I'm like,
You're like, "Colorado, let's go, the
Colorado,
mountains." And I'm like, "We can't do that.
California,
We can't go to Colorado right now,
the
like,
East
move
Coast,
there."
Florida.
The other day, "California, we could live in California." And I was like, "No, we can't."
We
We
could.
could,
We would probably
but
be in a box because
well, like a
the
a cardboard
affordability factor of
box.
it. Hey, it
You
wouldn't
looked
be.
Did you look at pricing
I did.
for what, Pasadena or
I looked
something?
up Pasadena, California, and
You
for
didn't come back
4
with a number for
I
me. You
didn't.
just said,
It was a
"Yeah, no,
lot.
that's not gonna
It
work."
was a lot. It was gonna
That's what I heard.
for like a
That will not
one-bedroom
work.
apartment, it was like what we pay for rent here on this 4-bedroom house.
Lord.
So and it's so much.
No, that's insane.
But yeah,
Hey,
okay, yeah.
you know what we should do before we
What
go?
should we do?
We should do this day in Facebook.
Oh gosh, this
I don't
this is really painful. I was
I
looking
know.
at Facebook
Oh,
earlier.
were you? I hardly ever look at my memories unless
Okay,
you ask
I
me
don't
to
even
on
have to
this
look.
podcast.
While you're looking,
Okay, let me go.
I'm gonna tell what's happening. All right, so 4 years ago today, 4 years ago today, the our older two kids and I were at the airport in Nairobi, getting ready to fly back home permanently from Kenya. And the reason I know this is because I felt it in my soul, like the phrase that you've used many times before, the body keeps the score. Um, the last week and a half has been really, really heavy. And 4 years ago, in that span of time, the big kids and I, we were packing our things up to move back from Kenya and we were saying goodbyes. And we also, if you've never done this before, I don't encourage it or recommend it. We missed our flight
Oh, you did. That
coming
was
back
horrible.
because we read the dates wrong on the boarding pass, and so that was about 4 days ago, 4 years ago, 4 years and 4 days
Mm,
ago, and we missed that. That was emotionally heavy. Had to do COVID tests, all this other stuff again. But yeah, 4 years ago to this day, we were sitting in the airport getting ready to fly back home, and that
mm,
was such a weird time because the discipline of staying. We hadn't even started talking about that. But the Lord was already kind of moving in our hearts, I think, and what the future was going to look like was really uncertain. But I'm grateful for where we are. We miss our Kenyan friends tremendously, like we call them family, because they're just incredible people, and people we just love and miss. And so
mm.
that's it for me on today. I didn't look past
That's not
that.
even funny.
It's not funny.
That
It
was
was
Man, I was hoping for like a funny
okay. Well,
Facebook
give me a
memory.
second. I'll
No, you
find
don't
it.
have to.
No,
It's
no, I'll
fine.
find one because I'm sure there's
It's
something stupid
fine.
that I posted in my memories.
No, that's sentimental. And I do remember when you called because our youngest was here with
Mm,
me and
mhm.
you said, so we were going to get on an airplane, but it was an AM, like a 12 a.m. flight. And
Yeah.
because of the date on it, because it was barely into the next day,
Yep.
it threw you. And that flight had already taken off.
It had. They were like, your flight left yesterday."
Like, what?
What?
That was horrible.
Oh, this morning is what it was this morning.
Yeah, that was horrible. I don't really have anything super entertaining here either, although this is sweet. So this was in 2015, so 11 years ago.
Okay.
And it says, this is just like me recounting our kids talking to each other. So Maddie said, "Hey, Ty, I love you." And Ty said, "I love you too." He gives her a hug and he tells her, "And you're the best big sister
Aw.
ever." And then Levi, our youngest, who at the time was not quite 4,
Mm.
said, "Yep. And Sissy is making waffles."
Aw.
I just thought I remember posting that because I wanted to remember
Yeah.
that they were friends
Yeah.
even at a young age,
Yeah.
like that they got along and they loved each other and they wanted to hug each other and encourage each other. And they're still like that now.
Yeah, they are.
Maybe not quite as sweet sometimes. Teenagers.
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 All right.
Yay.
So I do have a funny one.
Okay.
This was 2013. was before we moved to the coast. I have a picture of an HEB, which is a local grocery store here. Rolled oats bulk foods bag of oats. Yeah, it's janky.
Yeah, why do
Janky
we have a picture of rolled oats?
So my caption says, I generally never question directions on cooking oatmeal. But last time I tried 3.5 cups of water to 1 cup of oats, I had enough water left to make coffee with.
Bless. Why did you do that?
That was what the directions said on it. It says cooking instructions: boil 3.5 cups of water and 1/8 tablespoon of salt. Stir in 1 cup of oats. Cook 5 minutes over medium heat. Stir occasionally.
That's a typo.
That was.
Did you actually use that ratio?
I did the first time, because why would HEB lie to me?
Well,
I think that HEB has since repented of their sin. And I mean, this is 13 years ago.
Who knows? Oh my god.
I'm just saying, there was a lot of water. Like it was
like oatmeal soup.
It was not awesome. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to what the Not There Yet podcast looks like on the video. Listen, this is our first one. We're
yeah, bear with us.
Have some adjustments. We're trying new things. We have about this much of an idea of what we're doing. So maybe that will grow as we go. But
yeah, this has been fun.
Okay. Looking forward to it. So, is that it?
That's it.
Well, if you have any questions or thoughts, we'd love to hear from you guys. Email us at the Not There Yet podcast at gmail.com.
Not There Yet podcast.
It's the whole thing spread out. Or find us on whichever podcast location you find it: YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio,
podcast, Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're throwing them all out there. Anyway.
We'll see y'all next time.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Hey, y'all. Glad you guys joined us today for this episode. We would love to hear your thoughts, your opinions, all that good stuff. You guys have heard the contact information. Follow us on social media. Follow us on YouTube. Your favorite podcast platform is great. And if you have questions and thoughts, just send us an email to thenottheryetpodcast@gmail.com. The whole thing is spelled out. Evidently, there were some other email addresses taken. So anyway, looking forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks for joining. We'll see y'all again soon. Thanks.